Hey guys, it's Ashley and this is Downright Bookish, and today I want to share 6 books that I want to read in the first quarter of the year. So, I've been talking a lot about my quarterly goals, and I am so sorry if that is not interesting to you. It's probably going to be a topic that I bring up a lot in January, especially. One of my reading quarterly goals is to read at least 2 books every month that have been on my TBR for at least a year. So, really trying to knock out some of those older books on my TBR. I've really given up on the idea of trying to cut back my TBR because at this point I have well over 100 books of unread books. So the idea of just like trying to cut back on that just doesn't seem feasible. And I feel like I don't want that to deter me from not trying to achieve my goal. So, really, all this year, I just want to focus on reading a lot of the older books because those have been on my TBR the longest and they're the ones that I'm probably least interested to read, but still have a desire to pick up. So, the goal with this is by the end of the year, if there are really any books that I started or didn't really pique my interest, that I would probably just get rid of to then cut back on my TBR. But all that to say, I wanted to create kind of like a very loose TBR because, as we know, or if you've been on my channel for a while, TBRs usually never work for me. I usually will pick out a TBR and then decide after that, actually, I don't have any desire to read any of those books, and then read completely different books that are totally out of what I was trying to read. But so this is just like a loose idea of some of the books on my TBR that have been on my TBR for over a year that I would like to get to this quarter, maybe next quarter. I'm going to try to do this every quarter, so some of these might appear every video, who knows. But I just wanted to give myself a little direction too, so like when I'm trying to figure out what books have been on my TBR for a year and what I'm interested in reading, I can refer back to this video and be like, oh yeah, those are the books I wanted to read, so let's go with one of those. So I have 6 books here that I want to talk about, so let's just get into the books. So the first book I want to read is Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi. And the reason I want to pick up this book is, number one, it's very short and it's been on my TBR for several years now. And that's really embarrassing to say because it is such a short book. Like, I don't know why I never just decided to knock this out one weekend and call it a day and say, I've completed this book. But I haven't. So this is the quarter that I want to just do that. And I'm also listening to another Ta-Nehisi book, The Water Dancer, and having some mixed thoughts on that. So I want to confirm that Ta-Nehisi is a reader that I want to read. So I think if I read this one, fall in love with it, I'll be much more driven to get through The Water Dancer because I'm this close to DNFing that book, which I might make a video of, but it's just not meshing with me. And it's so upsetting to say because I know Ta-Nehisi is a favorite among a lot of readers and I want to be in that club too. But right now, The Water Dancer and me are not friends. So I want to see if I have a different experience with some of his nonfiction, and why not start with his first book and the shortest book. The next book I want to pick up is How It Went Down by Kikla Magoon, and this has been on my TBR since I started BookTube. I purchased this on one of my first initial book outlet hauls when I was really trying to beef up my book collection, so I had books to read to create videos, and this just never got read, which is upsetting because I really like the idea of this story. It sounds very interesting, especially in our current climate. It's about a black boy who gets shot by a white boy and kind of the trial. It covers the trial, I believe, and also the black boy's family, how they're dealing with the situation, and the white boy and his family and how they're dealing with the situation. So it's something that I think is very important to read, and I want to get to it. So yeah, and it doesn't, I feel like it's going to go by fast, but it might be just the way that it's kind of presented. They're chapters, and I think each chapter is coming from the perspective of a different person, so that concept kind of interested me as well. So I feel like it'll be a fast read, but a very hard-hitting read, which I'm I always like enjoy hard-hitting, very emotional stories when I finish reading them, but before I get into them, I just get this like dread that it's going to put me in this like dark space that I don't want to be in. So that's what always stopped me from reading these books, but I just need to go into it, read it, and I know at the end I'll feel very like accomplished and very happy, or not happy, but it'll help me in a way. So yeah, I just need to pick this one up and read it. Next book that has been on my TBR for quite a long time. I think I put this book on my TBR when it came out, and that was in 2014. So this is probably on my TBR since like I started booktube, which was in 2016, and that is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. And this book has always been well received on booktube and talked about a lot on booktube, and that's obviously why I picked it up. And the story sounded very interesting to me. I'm pretty sure if you've been on booktube for any amount of time, you know what this story is about, but it follows like a dystopian world, and it's all about this like traveling circus, I believe. So that premise sounds really interesting to me, but I've always felt like the hype of this book really stopped me from wanting to pick it up. And I believe, I've gotten pretty far and I've started reading this book, but then got nervous that I wasn't going to enjoy it and that it wasn't going to live up to the hype and my expectations, so I just never wanted to pick it up. But I do want to give it a shot, so I want to read this one this quarter, just so I can knock it out and say I've read Station 11. The next book I want to read is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is book 1 in the Raven Cycle series, and this is a very well-loved series on booktube that I have not picked up. I actually got this book from a Goodreads giveaway and was really excited to get it, and then just never read it. So I want to give it a shot. I have been refraining from buying the other books in the series, even though they come out on Book Outlet every once in a while for really good prices, because I'm trying not to buy second or third books in a series when I haven't even started the series. So I want to give this one a shot, see what I think, and then maybe continue on with the series. Who knows? I think I might have enjoyed this probably when I was a little bit younger, so that's what kind of had deterred me from reading it, because my tastes have changed a little bit. Heard a lot of great things about it, and again, I really like books that follow multiple characters, and this feels like a very character-driven story, so that intrigues me a lot. So the next book I have started to read like twice and just never really got into it. If you've been watching my channel for a while, this has been on my, like, I used to create videos of like the top books I want to read this year, and this book has been on this book has been on those videos so many times I can't count, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I want to read this book this year, like obviously this quarter, but the real ultimate goal is just to get it done this year. I have the second book. I'm not going to try to finish that one this year. Depending on how I feel about the first book, if I'm in love with it, I might just continue on. Who knows? But I don't have the third book, but I just want to finish this. I just want to knock it out. I never got really far into the book, so I probably just never really connected with the characters yet. I only managed to get maybe like 20 to 30 pages into the story and then just moved on to something else. I don't know what it is, but I just could not get into the story. I don't know if it was just not the right time. It's never the right time, I guess, for this book, but I want to knock it out because I also have her book, The Priory of the Orange Tree, and I've heard a lot of mixed feelings about that book, and that's a hefty book. So I want to see if I'm interested in her writing, interested in her story, because if I don't really like this book, I don't know if I really want to invest the time to read The Priory of the Orange Tree. But regardless, I just want to knock this book out because it has been on my TBR for such a long time, and the concept sounds really interesting, though at this point, I honestly don't even know what this book is about. I think it's like vampires, some type of magic, or I don't even know. But I just need to knock it out and the last book that I want to try to read this quarter is Susy by Madeline Miller. I got to actually meet Madeline Miller in 2018. She came to the Decatur Book Festival. I got to hear her speak about this book and her other book, Achilles, I think. So that kind of really sparked an interest in this book, but I was trying to get it signed too, but I don't think I actually got this one signed. No, didn't get it signed. but I don't know why I never picked it up, but it sounds really interesting. I think what's holding me off about this is that I'm not like super familiar with Greek mythology. It's something that I've always been interested in picking up and understanding better, but I have like a very basic understanding of Greek mythology. So I wanted to have much more of a background knowledge in it before I picked this up, because I think I would appreciate the story more. But I think right now it's just time, like, that the amount of research that I'd want to do to be able to do that is just going to take a lot of time. So I might as well just give in, read it, because I feel like even if I don't have that background, I feel like I would enjoy the story regardless. My mom read it and enjoyed it, so I just want to read it. And honestly, if I really like the book, I want to pick up the actual book. This is a book of the month copy, because the actual book is like gold, it's embossed, it's really pretty, but the book of the month one is just like a cheaper dust jacket. So if I like the story, I want to pick that one up, and if not, I'll just give it away. So yeah, those are the 6 books that I want to get to in this quarter. Let me know if you've read any of these books, or if you think I should just not read any of them. That would be really helpful. If you're just like, I don't think you'll like it, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, I really just want to, these are books that I'm like, would want to knock out, and if I could read these, I would feel really accomplished, because they have just been on my TBR for an embarrassing long amount of time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you very soon with another one. Bye!